because of the training department.
So the department made a decision. Was that sanctioned by the board or anybody?
To my
management?
To my understanding, at the time, it wasn't mandated. 5 organizations, if I could remember, were doing the pilot project with GoJep. So we at the time, it was still a pilot project, but we at the time feel that we, in terms of learning the system, so when everything come on mainstream, the department would be of fair without to monitor the system, and that is how that 10 million came into being.
So basically a decision was taken to circumvent the system. I mean, that's what it is, because no, but you can't tell me no if it's only 20 out of 800 transactions were uploaded. Well, Health Auditor General is wrong.
All right, so my understanding, Mr. Chairman, as the procurement director said, in 2021, they were invited to participate in the training for the GoJep, how to use the system. The circular did not come into being until 2023, but the requirement, the mandatory upload of all procurement came in 2023. So in 2021, the UHWI participated in the training and they took the initiative. They were not required to upload to GoJep. They took the initiative to upload and so that they would start with procurements at $10 million and above. What they failed to do was actually in 2023, and I can't speak to about their knowledge of the circular, but I know that they received training at some point in time in terms of how to use the system. They never went and adjusted the policy that they had implemented. So they never transitioned from the pilot into and to regularize the adoption of the requirements of the ministry.
I hear you.
Because I think they were doing it ad hoc. That's what we saw. They were just doing it ad hoc because they did not embed it in their control and governance process, which is what needs to be done.
That is correct, Auditor General.
Oh boy. All right, thank you. Again, so your follow-up is to provide for us a report once you get the facts as to the 780 transactions that were not uploaded, what size those were, and why those were not uploaded.
Okay, Chairman.
All right. I go into key finding 3, which must be the most egregious of them. So somebody have to explain this. The absence of procurement documentation. The University Hospital of the West Indies could not provide procurement documentation for 51 contracts. However, since then, 28 files valued at 269 million have been found, which means that we can't find 22 and 1 is incomplete. So, and that the 22 that can be found is 246 million and 1 incomplete is 18 million. So again, just explain to us as a committee, when a procurement is completed, what is the process to put that document, whether it's physical storage, online on a server? Just explain that process to me. Because this, well, I'm starting with the acting CEO and you can delegate. This one to me is the worst one. That you just can't find documents. Even after the Auditor General has been in, you have found about half of them. And obviously you've been looking for the rest and you can't find them. So help us, Mr. Hosing.
The member asked, where were they? When I took up the position, I insisted that they must find them. And they were able to locate the 28, and then after submitting those 28, they found 1 more, make it 29. They have so far been unable to locate anymore. They were in storage in a story room, but it was never provided to the auditors. When they came, even after requesting it, they did not provide it to them. But I insisted that they should. I don't think there was, I wasn't there, so I can't tell you that it was resistance or what, member. It could have been, not lack of diligence and searching and insistence, but they were able to locate some. The search continues, but it is so far has not proven any further success other than the 29.
So what is the standard operating procedure? I love this term. For when a procurement is complete, where those documents should be stored, clearly for audit purposes, for both internal and your external auditor, you have to keep your documentation, where those documents should be held, etc. What is that procedure?
I'll ask Mr. Bokri just to share with the
Yes.
meeting.
Turn on back your mic.
Yes, Chair. The standard operating procedure is that each document, procurement activity, or file is filed in a file folder and placed in a hard binder and then transferred to a storage area where it can be retrieved. Upon my return to the unit, upon my return to the unit, I realized that this practice wasn't being followed. Hence, the reason why these files could not be located. And
So where would those files have been?
those files should have been in a storage area. My understanding is that that area was flooded at least twice or three times based on heavy rainfall. That was my understanding.
Can you be more specific? Was that when? What were the dates of? Because let me tell you, you know why this one is more serious? We don't know whether you're not even in a position to make an assessment. And I don't want to conclude that it is deliberate, because I don't know. But given everything that we have seen, you could infer that. But to say there were 3 cases of flooding, when were those 3 cases of flooding? Because it's the first time we're hearing that. I don't know if that was shared with the Auditor General's department. And if you are storing files in a place that flood out easy, you know, move it somewhere else, if that is the case.
But are there basements in
But help me on that one, because tell me when those flooding took place and whether those were reported to the board, to the internal audit committee, etc. Was there a request for removal to a different storage area? I need to know that.
and do there are basements?
Well, let me ask him. Go ahead. So the three flooding out. Tell me when those took place.
Where is this?
No, he said there were 3 cases of flooding. No, but help us there.
Okay, so that was my understanding that the area was flooded.
When?
I didn't get the specific. I'm not aware of the specific. But
These-
while I was not there, I understand that the area was flooded.
No, so all right. Is there anybody who can, because this is the first, this wasn't reported to the Auditor General when she did her review. So it's the first we're hearing this issue of flooding. So I would like, as part of your report, to tell us specifically when the flooding took place and whether when those incidents took place, whether management was informed, whether a corrective thing was put in place, whether flooding from the roof, the floor, whatever, to mitigate against that. We could never accept that 50% of documents valuing $280 million can be found because of flooding. because flooding. I mean, you haven't even asked the ones you have found yet to determine whether they're following proper procedure.
But if there was flooding, how come they found some?
Well, it help.
Wet?
Who can help us with that? Internal auditor? You can help us with that? Because, yes, some were found, 28 were found. So it must be from the same era of flood out, where you find the 28. So why can't the other 22 be found? Mr. Internal Auditor, help us here. We're, again, in conducting, you have to release your mic so I can turn on his. In conducting your internal, is that an issue which you identified and brought to the attention of the audit committee of the board or the CEO? The flood.
Thank you, Chair. Just for context.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Just for context, the internal audit function had done 6 reviews of procurement section, and the issue of documentation not being found is institutionalized. It is systemic. We have done review of it, and on several occasions, we'd asked them to put in systems in place to mitigate against that. And it is in the internal audit reports, and since recently, they have done something about it in terms of the management has put something in place, and we have reviewed that.
What has management put in place?
They have put in, as the senior director had said, filing cabinets, and
filing cabinets
and hard folders. We had looked at them just recently, Chair, right? But it has been institutionalized over a long period of time, and we have reviewed them and report them to the audit committee, and that is where it ends, Chair.
No, hold on. Help me again, because you are saying people put in place filing cabinet.
Yes, Chair.
Me have that in my yard, you know. Me have that in my yard. You can't tell me that the University Hospital at the West Indies that spend billions of taxpayers' money just put in place filing cabinet?
Yes, Chair. Yes,
no,
Chair.
Man,
filing cabinets and hard folders.
Cabinets and hard folders?
Yes, Chair.
So what existed before?
Right. So, Chair, those recent procurement activity, the board, which is the audit committee, had asked the internal audit.
Those are big money. And of the 521 here is 431. 83% is those 8.
Thank you, member. The details, I would have to put that together and submit to this committee at another time. But we do have the information.
All right.
But
yes,
not with me now, but we can
really
provide with the details of.
I wanted to just probe a little more. I know you may not have the specific data in front of you, but are these the 8? Are these maintenance providers and that deal with AC, elevator, things that may break down in a hospital that require immediate action? Are you in a position to say?
It says services, work, goods. So it may span.
Not all. And in fact, some were consulting services.
There you go. There you go.
So
and through your chair, I did not get the name of the 2 consultants with the 186,000.
For the strategic plan and
which we post. Yeah. Who are those?
The one that was recently provided, it was William Pragmatic Limited. They are from a firm of consultants, I believe, from Canada.
From Canada.
And what about the other one, the strategic plan?
The one that wasn't accepted.
No, that's the one. The first one provided a draft strategic plan that was rejected by the board. That one is strategic alignment. So they provided a report, but the board did not accept that strategic plan.
That's a Canadian company as well, strategic alignment. Is that a Canadian company as well?
No, I'm not sure of that. I think they are local, but I'm not sure. I can confirm. But what I do have is the second one, William Pragmatic. They're out of Canada. They provided a draft report, interim report, and there are several things that they require to complete, they say, their work.
All right. So you will provide the 8, that
And
431.
a breakdown of the 431.
The name of the 8, the values beside it, whether they were beneficiaries, the method of awarding for each, as well as the particular service or work or good
that provided.
Yes, I have a team recording that. So if you don't see me writing, the team.
Yeah, we will follow up because that's one of our follow-ups that we would need. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other final thing on this, there was a value of $681 million for consultants as well. Consultants. For hiring consultants and other related types of services associated with consultants. I take it probably would not have those names can share or a breakdown of that, because these are in the context of 64% direct awarding, in the context of missing documents, in the context of flagrant procurement breaches. It would be good because, the country, with this issue, the country has been hearing, references to only one named entity in a lot of the stuff. So we want to, I know the AG department can't tell us the names of all of these things. And we are going to another issue where we need to get all the names. All the names are out there. So again, 681 million for consultants, and procurement around that, based on the statement coming out of the findings of the AG. We would be certainly myself would be very happy to get those.
The committee is requesting that from the University Hospital, that they provide a breakdown of the 600 million who it was provided to, for what services, and the amount for each. Same thing with the 8 companies that got the 431 million, what services are provided, and how much for each as well.
I will do my best to provide you with the detail. As you will appreciate, some of these things under investigation by the police and by customs, and so we'd want them to complete that, to confirm certain things before we go on.
I know, but all we are asking for is, we accept there may be other entities doing work, but in cases where public funds are spent, the public has a right to know how those monies were spent. And that's all. That's all we are asking. Yeah, we are requesting that. Yeah. All right, I see Member Miller, Member Cuthbertson, and Member Cousins. Oh, Member Morrison. All right, Member Miller, then Member Morrison.
It is to the PS. The procurement committee, would you agree with me that the procurement department or committee operates in a very laissez-faire way? And the head of procurement has been there for, 10 years? But yet still we're seeing so many breaches, not using the GoJEP, files are not being stored. Doesn't that concern you, that procedures are not being followed, way they operate? Doesn't that concern you?
Yes, it does concern me.
What has been done, having taken up the portfolio, what has been done to correct that? Because we hear that it is systematic. The head of procurement has been there 10 years. He mentioned that he was removed and brought back. Is it that he was doing such a great job while he was removed? Or why is it that he was brought back for a particular reason?
I could not answer that question. I'm not involved in the day-to-day operations of the University Hospital of the West Indies. And they report to a board. The CEO reports to a board. So that those questions are best directed that way. But to answer your question, I'm not satisfied.
Well, probably the CEO is better
directed to me, so maybe the CEO can
able to assist me.
Mr. Buckridge was reassigned in 2025, early 2025. He was returned to his position in February of 2026. You're asking why he was reassigned. I think they were hoping for him to be a part of a team to deal with digitization of records and so on. He was brought back in 2020 as a reassignment did not follow the correct HR procedure, and therefore we had to correct that because of that problem. It is in his return that we were able to find the 2829 files, having him to lead search and to get that. So the Catherine Phipps committee engaged by the board is looking at all employees to determine where they are to be held accountable and what is recommendation. The committee is made up of lawyers, HR practitioners, very senior levels, and they are doing that. They are expected to provide the board with a report by June of this year. So in another 2 months, we are expecting the report, 2 months plus. We are expecting that report, and from there, if depending on what they say, we will take the necessary actions along with the police who are doing their investigation, and they are doing asked for statements, and they are planning to do interviews. We were told just yesterday.
I do hope that somebody is held accountable for this, because those gaps that we're seeing, it doesn't sit well with me, nor the public, who an entity such as UHWI should be operating at a particular standard. So I do hope that report doesn't go missing like all the other documents.
I can assure you, I'm a part of the board, and I can assure you that we are taking the engagement of a very well-known and very capable person as Catherine Phipps and the members of that committee, an indication of the seriousness with which the board is taking this matter, but we want to follow the correct HR due process to ensure that we are doing it correctly and not get ourselves into any trouble at any other levels.
This question is for Mr. Buckridge. Buckridge. My apologies. Prior to your removal, were the documents kept in the same place when you returned? All your documentation, were they stored at the same location?
1 second, somebody has to release a mic so I can turn on his. Yes.
Okay. Let me just add some context to that, Chair. Files were being kept in filing cabinets, and when those filing cabinets were filled, they were transferred into a storage room that has shelves on them. So we have always been using filing cabinets. And then, so the most recent files are kept in filing cabinets. So based upon my return now, when the process was not being kept.
So between when you left in 2023, you left in 2025?
Yes, early 2025, and returned in February 2026.
And returned 2026. So within that 1 year gap, or 1 year period, processes were not followed, you're saying?
Yes.
Very well.